Hey everybody, welcome to our Facebook Live broadcast. It is live, and happy Friday, and I hope everybody is doing really well. I hope you're all staying healthy and safe, and I hope you're enjoying these little broadcasts that we're doing. Feel free to put comments and to do the little symbols, the thumbs up, the thumbs down, anything to kind of guide me into how I can make this better for you, and more meaningful, more informational, and things that are super relevant for you and for your life, and how we can actually help you to live your best life ever, which is what my goal is. So today we're going to talk about microneedling with PRP, also called the vampire facial. And vampire, that's kind of an ominous word, but basically PRP is platelet-rich plasma, and we're drawing your own blood and isolating the platelets, which have all these growth factors and all these amazing healing properties and regenerative properties in them. And that's where the vampire comes from. It was that is a term that was created, and the procedure was created and invented by Dr. Charles Runnels. And that's where the term vampire comes from, is that we're drawing your blood to be able to do this amazing procedure for you. And so that's what it is. It's utilizing a very specific technique, and you need to be trained on this technique and certified in the technique of the vampire facial and the vampire facelift, which is another thing that we'll talk about in another time. But the vampire facial is utilizing a microneedling pen. So that's a pen that has a lot of little needles that are not hollow. They're just there to create a pore or a channel, really, in the skin to allow whatever substance you have on the surface of the skin to penetrate through the skin. And when you're using platelet-rich plasma, now you're taking a regenerative substance and actually penetrating it through the skin, which allows for a massive healing response, inducing collagen to be made, and this beautification and youthful look to the skin. So rather than me just telling you about it, I actually want to show you some pictures, because pictures say 1,000 words, so we've been told. So let's go here, and I'm going to show you some pictures, and then I'm going to show you a little bit more about what's involved with this here. So look at this beautiful picture. This is before and after the vampire facial, and you can see that it's a subtle change, but if you look here at how fresh she looks in this picture over here, that there's really, this is these kind of subtleties here and on the chin, especially because on the chin we get that as we get older and as we, all kinds of different reasons that it happens, there's something called peau d'orange, which is like an orange peel appearance to the skin of the chin, especially of the chin. And look how much smoother this looks here. And the coloration in her skin, this is a really well done picture because the lighting is the same, the angle is the same, and you can see the coloration in her skin is just fresher and younger. Let's look at the next one. Here we go. And this is a pretty dramatic difference. Again, excellent before and after picture because the lighting is the same. You don't have a lot of different makeup and things like that on the picture. And you can see that she just looks much less tired, and like gravity is just pulling less on her in the after picture here. I also want you to notice the coloration here with that kind of uneven tone and uneven texture, and how improved that is in the after picture. Even some of the lines here are much softer than they are over here. You can see here softer than it is here. This is microneedling with PRP, or the vampire facial. These are beautiful before and after pictures. Here's another one. Now, this is a younger person, so younger people, tend to have more collagen, but it doesn't matter what age you are. We can get your body to make more collagen, make better collagen, and PRP is a huge stimulus for that. So here you can see in the before picture, she's young and beautiful, but in the after picture, you can see the coloration in her skin. And even under the eyes is less swollen, and it's less discolored here. The beautiful texture of the skin here. Here's another lovely before and after picture where you can really see the coloration and the unevenness in the before that improved significantly in the after, whether it's through all of this area, through the cheeks and on the forehead. And look at how much smoother and just younger, more youthful the skin looks. And here we have another beautiful before and after where the forehead lines, and she doesn't have a lot of lines in her face, but these are much smoother here. And around the eyes and this cheek area, much smoother. The discoloration here is improved and significantly improved along the upper lip and the chin in the after picture. So this is the vampire facial. Isn't it amazing? Just looks so good. And this is so natural. It's a microneedling pen. Now, I will tell you this as we're looking at these, that which microneedling pen your doctor uses matters, because these are blood products. So you need to use a microneedling pen that's been FDA approved and is designed properly so that the blood products stay in the disposable tip that goes on the end of the pen, that there's enough room in there, and it's actually designed for blood products so that there isn't any blood product coming back into the part of the pen that doesn't get thrown away. So, and they have those. That's, you just want to make sure that if you're not able to come in and do this here, because you know how careful I am with everything, but make sure that you're asking about what kind of pen that they're using and that it's FDA approved for blood products. Look at this beautiful before and after picture here. You can see the texture of the skin is so much improved over here. You've got some softening even under the eye here, definitely softening around this area here. And this is the vampire facial before and after. And those are the pictures that I have for that. Now I'm going to show you a video that I did that's just an explainer video, just to maybe fill in some of the blanks for you right now, to see, just to kind of tell you what we have, a little bit about, well, I'm not seeing the video. Let me see if I can find it. I did. Let me just hit a refresh. There we go. Okay, I'm going to play this for you, and hopefully it's going to play nicely. It's just loading, just a minute. And this is just kind of filling in the blanks, trying to anticipate and answer the questions you might have about the vampire facial to see if it's right for you. Hi, Dr. Heather here, and in this video, I'm going to talk about tired looking skin and what you can do about it. Do you have fine lines and irregularities in your skin that you wish weren't there? Do you have scars or a dull, flat coloration to your skin that makes you look older than you feel? What if I told you there is a procedure that utilizes the amazing growth factors in your own blood to improve both the collagen in your skin, smooth irregularities, improve scars, and create more youthful coloration of your skin? Would you be interested? Yes. There are thousands of pills, powders, and potions on the market today that are focused on creating more youthful skin. Some of them are helpful, many of them are not. There are also lasers and chemical peels that take the top several layers off the skin, and while often effective for at least some period of time, they can be expensive and painful with a week of downtime post-procedure. But there is a procedure that combines the technology of microneedling and platelet-rich plasma. It is called the vampire facial. Microneedling is a process that uses a special device called a microneedling pen. So that's an example of the pen that I was talking about. That's the pen without the tip on it. So having the tip on it is very important, because that's the part that is disposed of after each single time. Even if it's you having it done more than once, a new cartridge goes on the end of that pen. And it has a disposable cartridge containing 9 to 12 small, non-hollow needles that penetrate the skin at a very high rate of speed, creating a microtrauma and a channel in the skin. Sometimes the microtrauma is the whole treatment, with that microtrauma being the trigger for the skin to create a healing cascade, which leads to collagen production. However, the platelets in your blood contain powerful growth factors that have the ability to generate new tissue, create new blood flow, plump up areas that have lost volume, and truly regenerate more youthful skin. As you saw in those before and after pictures, and those were very specifically with microneedling with PRP. And I'm just going to stop it for a second, because I know probably one of the questions you're having if you've never had this procedure done before is it painful? And I will tell you that there's all kinds of adjustments we can make on the pen, especially the pen that we use, to make this less uncomfortable for you. We use a numbing cream ahead of time, but then of course we have to sterilize the skin, so we take the numbing cream off. But it's not considered a painful procedure. There's some areas areas that are going to be more sensitive than others on the face, especially above the lip. Believe it or not, that's more sensitive even than around the eyes. But this is not considered a painful procedure, so I don't want you to be dissuaded by, oh, it's needles on my face. These are very, very tiny needles. They're done at a very high rate of speed, and patient comfort is always a really important thing to us. So we're going to be working with you to make sure that it is not an uncomfortable procedure. When the platelets are concentrated, which is also called platelet-rich plasma or PRP, and then used with microneedling, the channels created in the skin by the pen are filled with the platelet-rich plasma, and you get a much more profound response. The procedure is relatively painless, except over certain areas like the upper lip, which is a very sensitive area, but there is no downtime. In my practice, I massage in a special peptide cream right after the procedure is done. You know how much I love peptides. This is a copper peptide cream that I rub into the face, and it's incredibly healing, and it takes a lot of that redness, at least 50% of the redness from the procedure away before you even leave. And the post-procedure redness and rashiness is practically gone by the time you're leaving. Some of my patients go right back to work after having the vampire facial with me. Plus, this treatment is effective in both men and women. Now, the vampire facial does not solve all skin issues. If you have severe hyperpigmentation or vitiligo, then it can still help your skin, but won't likely dramatically correct those conditions. So hyperpigmentation is when you have large patches of really dark skin compared to the rest of the skin tone on your face. And vitiligo is a condition where you have dramatically different colored skin. If you're African American, you'll have large blotches of skin that is very white. So those are more specific situations where when the skin is really dramatically different in large patches on the face, it can still improve it, but you're not likely going to see a before and after where it's completely gone with only microneedling, but it still improves it. If you're trying to modify or minimize a scar, vampire facial can really help with that, but it will require more than one treatment. So, if you're ready to freshen up your look, regenerate your skin in texture, appearance, and coloration, or finally minimize the appearance of scars, then go to drheather.net/contact. Make sure to mention vampire facial. Thank you for watching. We just want to help you live your best life ever. Okay, so that was like a nice little explainer video. Hopefully that answered some of the questions off the top of your head. Now, when we think about, let's do a little deeper dive on why this is so effective, because there are procedures that are being done that are just doing microneedling, where they're only doing the pen without maybe doing some kind of a gel or something like that to let the pen slide across the face and to give it some growth. But there was actually research done about comparing regular microneedling without PRP to microneedling with a PRP. And I'm going to show you a couple of papers at least about that. And then I'm going to show you some more pictures in just a second. But as far as platelet-rich plasma is incredibly healing. When we have an injury, and now I've talked about PRP before, but I'm going to talk about it's just such an amazing substance, and it comes from our body. The platelets in our blood are designed to heal our tissues. So when we have an injury that happens, if you get a cut in the skin, you'll notice that there'll be bleeding, but then the bleeding stops. And when the platelets get to the cut, they open up, and not only do they release clotting factors so that the bleeding stops, so you don't bleed to death from a little paper cut, but there's also a release of all of the healing factors, so the healing begins right then. And being able to harness that incredible healing power and be able to use it in the skin on a regular basis to be able to regenerate and rejuvenate the texture, the color, the quality of the skin, and certainly the overall appearance of youthful skin. And it actually is more youthful skin because you've done a regenerative procedure to it. So let me show you a couple of studies here. I won't belabor the research part, but I do want to at least show you. So this is a study where they did combined platelet-rich plasma with microneedling versus just microneedling with water. So this was the control, where they were just using water instead of actually using PRP. And basically, this study was published in 2016, and which is in the scientific literature world, that's pretty recent. And so basically, they did one half of the face with PRP, microneedling, and the other half of the face with just distilled water. And so they used the right side of the face And they were doing this for acne scars. So acne scars, as you know, can be very, very difficult to treat. They can minimize with time, but a lot of people would really like to use something that would be much more effective than just leaving it for time to take care of. So they did PRP on the right half of the face, and the left half of the face was treated with the distilled water. And this was the results. So the right and left halves of the face showed 62% and 45% improvement. But when you look at who got better, you had, on the qualitative scale that they used, 40% of the patients had a good response, and and 60% of the patients on the right half of the face, while the left half of the face showed only 10% with an excellent response, and 6% had a poor response in the 3 patients left. So basically, this is showing a really statistically significant improvement using PRP with acne scars. So this is, it's not a huge study. There's not a lot of people, but there's multiple studies like this that really demonstrate that PRP is amazing. And this is another study. So this is using PRP in a microneedling device for something called striae distensia, which is also known as stretch marks. And for any of you who've seen stretch marks, and I'll show you a picture, most people don't like the look of stretch marks. They would like to get rid of those. And here they had a really nice result with the PRP. Microneedling of the PRP is safe and more effective when used with PRP than just by itself for the treatment of stretch marks. And I'm going to show you these pictures. Look at how dramatic this is. Let me see. Yeah. This is before the PRP. This is stretch marks. This is the typical look of a stretch mark, which often happens when we carry babies. It can happen if you've had a weight gain or a weight loss, and it can just happen from your connective tissue and the collagen in your skin not being as robust as it might otherwise be. So this is after PRP. Look how dramatic that is. That looks amazing. And in the axilla up in here, this is another area where people often get stretch marks. This skin just tends to break down a little bit more underneath the surface. And look at how beautiful that is. That's 4 weeks after 4 treatments. That's a huge difference. And this picture is a little less clear, but you can see how dramatic these stretch marks are compared with this picture. And this is, again, using microneedling with PRP. So isn't that amazing? I think it's just utterly amazing. Now, I do want to, there may be some confusion about vampire facial versus vampire facelift. And yes, we do all of the vampire procedures. The vampire facial is the microneedling that we've been talking about with PRP. Now, when combined with the vampire facelift, now that is using a dermal filler. We use Juvederm. In certain areas of the face, it's very technique and protocol driven, again, certified and trained in this technique, and utilizing PRP not only through the surface of the skin, but under the skin. And I'm going to show you, combining these 2 procedures gives you even more dramatic results. Let me show you, this is the facelift and the facial combined. You can see here that, again, the quality of the skin with the microneedling, with the vampire facial is beautiful. But here, the vampire facelift has allowed a lot of the volume loss here that's making her look more aged than what she should look. And this is a much more youthful look. Here's another one. This is the combined vampire facelift and facial. You can see here she has more, this is a lot more plumped up and more volume restored, and the quality of her skin is just significantly better in the after picture. This is a very dramatic picture. This is vampire facelift and facial. So we have a volume restoration here. We have volume restoration here. And a lot of people think that you need to actually fill those lines in order to make them smoother. But there's a different way of looking at the face, of lifting the scaffold back to the youthful face and then treating the skin. So this is, the quality of her skin here is much more youthful than it is in the before picture. And it's not just for women. Gentlemen, this is a wonderful procedure for you as well. And you can see how this is just, it's a very youthful look without changing the the structure of your face or making it look like you had something dramatic done. This is taking you, we're going to have you look like you, but a younger version of you, and it's very subtle, but it's noticeable. You can see the volume restoration, but he doesn't look, this is not a feminizing procedure on men. There's a special technique on doing this on men because the male face is not like the female face. But look at the quality of his skin in the after picture, after the vampire facial. And here's another picture. This is pretty dramatic. This is the vampire facelift and facial combined. Look at how young his face looks here. The skin is much smoother. It's lifted, and the volume that's been lost that gives that kind of flat and saggy look has been restored. So I hope you enjoyed this today, and you can see for yourself some of these, why these procedures are so exciting for us to do. We just love getting these results for our patients and for you all. So, and that's our broadcast for today. So if you're interested in any of these, in the vampire facial, our point today, or the vampire facelift, we have included the vampire facelift, and in one of the packages for the summer 2020 is also the vampire facial. So you have drheather.net/summer 2020. This is part of our summer package to get that restorative, rejuvenated look, matching the restorative, rejuvenated body. And so we're working on just getting us out of the whole quarantine mindset, where we can start taking better care of ourselves. And if you're a patient of mine, then you can go to drheather.net/summer 2020 if you're interested in the summer package. And if not, if you're really just looking for the vampire facelift or the vampire facial or the combination of the microneedling, then just go to drheather.net/contact and then mention vampire facial in there. Or if you'd like to have me take a look and figure out what it is that would be best for you, I'm happy to do that as well. We have a method for that. And if you're not a patient of mine, but this sounds really awesome and you'd like to become a patient of mine, you live in Florida at least some part of the year, go to drheather.net/new patient. That's it for today. And I hope you have a fantastic weekend. And I hope you stay well and safe, and we'll see you next Friday. Bye for now. Thank you.